Do you ever feel like you never have enough time to get anything done? Or no matter how hard you try, you're always behind deadline? Or no matter how excited you are about starting your day, when you look at your calendar, you just feel so overwhelmed because your calendar is so packed with schedule that you have no idea how you're going to get through the day. If you're someone constantly struggling with time management, this video is for you. In this video, you're going to discover 3 simple steps on how to manage your time a lot more effectively. And no, you don't have to spend hours downloading new software or learning new technique just so you can be better at time management, because that would be counterintuitive, right? When you implement these 3 simple steps properly, you're able to manage your time a lot more efficiently without stress. Hey, this is Joe Lau. As an entrepreneur, a business owner, a husband, a father, a marathon runner, when I look at my schedule, I feel like I never have enough time to do anything. It's because I have so many roles I want to fill, and each role requires me to do so much, and I want to do all those things, right? And believe it or not, we only have 24 hours a day, 168 hours a week. So for years, I've been struggling, trying to figure out how do I ever get all those things done. The truth is, I've been studying time management, how to get things done, mindset for years, and a lot of those are technique, some of those are mindset, but what I find really working well for me is just 3 simple steps that I'm going to share with you today. When it comes to time management, there's so many theory, book, tactic, principle, tools, software, apps, and I've tried them all. And through my own personal experience on trial and error for all this technique out there, I found that there are 3 things that everybody actually talk about, and I consider those are the 3 needle movers. And if you do those 3 things in this particular order that I'm about to share with you today, and that's become super effective, and once you implement that, you're never gonna have problem with time management. And please make sure to stay until the end of this video, because I'm gonna share a resource with you that allow you to work less and make more, so you never have to sacrifice your personal life for professional gain. Let's jump right in. Zig Ziglar said, people often complain about lack of time when lack of direction is the problem. Now I wish I read that quote a long time ago, but I didn't, so I had to find out the hard way. For years, when I was running my e-commerce business selling self-defense products like stun guns and tasers, yes, I have been tased before. That's another story. So in the marketing standpoint, I would be learning how to do pay-per-click, and then I would shift to learn how to do email marketing. Then I would shift to learn how to do search engine optimization. Then I would shift to learn how to do affiliate marketing. And so I have so much on my plate, I'll be constantly taking like multiple courses in the same time to learn how to do all this technique, right? And if I'm looking at my calendar, it's actually so full that I don't even know what to do. And in the meantime, when I see an email popped up in my mailbox that I would join another marketing new opportunity idea to learn another channel, it's because as a business owner, I feel like I don't want to miss out on any opportunity when they say, hey, you can make lots of money from this new marketing technique, right? So that's just on the marketing standpoint. I'll be constantly learning multiple techniques, try to apply multiple techniques in the same time. I mean, that's just for marketing. Now, on the product standpoint, everybody knows when you sell product that you're supposed to increase your product line, right? That worked out for me for a very long time, that's how we increase the income. But out of nowhere, I thought, oh, maybe we should create a self-defense training courses. Maybe we should create a subscription kind of product line. And that got me distracted. Now you can see it. I have 4 or 5 training courses in the marketing standpoint, and now I have few product line that's really different from one on the other. One is physical, one is information, one is something else that I don't even know what it was anymore. Looking at my calendar and my to-do list, I have so much to do in all directions. Now, all of them are very important, and they all works if I can finish them. The problem is finishing it. And that brings me to step 1, set boundaries. How do you set boundaries? By saying no. You gotta say no a lot more often than you think you need to. Warren Buffett famously said, the difference between very successful people than the others is very successful people almost always say no. Why? It's because when you actually say yes to one thing, you actually say no to the others. When you are saying yes to a new opportunity, a new marketing technique, a new product line, you're actually saying no to being focused on what may be already working. Or you may be actually saying no to a technique or a new marketing initiative or product line that you started it without finishing it. So that's why step 1 is so important. Setting boundary on what you're supposed to say yes to, and setting boundary on what you're supposed to say no to. When you have a clear boundary on what you're supposed to say yes and say no to, you actually free yourself up from all those imposter syndrome with scroll syndrome, whatever you call it, right? Shiny object syndrome. It's because now you have a clear idea on what you really need to work on from start to finish. And also, it's okay to give yourself permission to say no. There are always opportunities out there. There's always a way to make more money. There's always a new idea that we feel like we have to act on it right now. But by giving yourself permission to say no a lot more often, you allow yourself a chance to actually think through it. What is truly important to your mission? What is truly important to your business? What is truly important to your goal? So you can focus on the thing that truly matter, that will drive more result for your business. So that's step one. Set boundary by saying no a lot more often. Step two, check how you spend your time. What I mean by that is, just be honest with yourself. We all have been there before, right? We set the schedule to work from, let's say, 9 to 12 on a new marketing project. Well, before you know it, that's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you still haven't finished the whole project. Why? Because during those times, we won't really focus on what we're doing. Now, it is extremely hard for us to think back on how we actually spend time because we are biased, right? If we knew that we wouldn't be productive, then we would not have do that in the first place. So a tool and a simple step that help you to overcome this step is very simple. Do a time study. So what I want you to do is do a 7-day time study on this is how you do it. For the next 7 days, what you want to do is you can just use a piece of paper, you can do it in a journal, you can do it in a spreadsheet, however you want to do it, it's not important. The key is to do a 7-day time study at a 30 minutes interval. So what I want you to do is, during those 7 days time study period, for every 30 minutes, just write it down after you have completed the task for the 30 minutes. Just be honest, write down what did you do, right? If you spend 30 minutes looking at social media, or if you spend 30 minutes like just daydreaming about a new idea, just be honest, just write that down. It's because this is really easy for you. This is basically, it's like a diagnostic tool on how you've been spending time, right? Because without knowing how you've been spending time, there's no way to make adjustment. Because time management is all about making adjustment. Making adjustment on what you think is important so you can focus your time on those things, and making adjustment on how you actually spend those time so you can actually put in the time and effort to get those things done. So time management is all about time adjustment, right? So step 2 is going to help you get a really clear picture on how you actually be spending time. So keep check on how you spend time for every 30 minutes and write down honestly. This is just for your eyes only. You don't have to share this with anybody else. So be honest to yourself on how you've been spending time for the past 30 minutes and keep track of it for 7 days. Yes, I do want you to track that, how much time you spend on things like sleeping, but no, I don't want you to wake up every 30 minutes to write down that you've been sleeping for 30 minutes. If you have a continuous duration for like things like this, or workout, or having dinner with family, things like that, just write it down after the activities, but do it in a 30 minutes interval, right? When you actually write it down, so you can be super precise on how you've been spending. Because just imagine you being kind of like wandering off 30 minutes per day for the 7 days period. If you be precise about that, you can actually save yourself about 3.5 hours just by doing this. So again, be extremely precise, track it for every 30 minutes, and you'll be amazed 7 days later how much time you find because you may have just wandered off somewhere while you think you've been focusing on work. So that's step 2. Check how you spend your time with a 7-day time study. When you're doing the 7-day time study, by day 2 or 3, when you're actually doing the exercise every 30 minutes at a time, you start to notice that you'll be a lot more conscious on how you actually spend your time. It's because through the day 1 or day 2 tracking, you notice that you may have wasted some time on things like social media or just daydreaming. So by day 3, you start to be a lot more focused, and your mind and subconscious be a lot more conscious about how you actually spend your time. So before you even finish the whole 7-day time study, you're already getting the benefit, and in result, you'll be a lot more productive on how you actually work. Step 3, budget your time. So what I mean by that is, by the time you finish your 7-day time study, you probably will come to an awakening moment that realize that work is not the only thing you do in life. You probably spend time doing some kind of, I call it the maintenance kind of work, like go to sleep, eat, use the bathroom, take a shower, and maybe spend time with your family, spend some alone time, spend some time on entertainment, hang out with friends, and so forth, right? So you start to realize that life is more than work, believe it or not, right? Whether the duration of those things that you do, there's different area in your life. And that's when step 3 comes in handy. Budget your time, right? Now, budgeting your time has the same effect as budgeting your finances. If you want to get a hold of your finances, all financial advisor is going to advise you to budget your expenses, budget your finances, figure out what area that you need to spend money on, right? And have a budget for it. Same thing as your time. Now that you've done the 7-day time study, it had come to realization that there are other areas in your life that you have to spend time focus on, right? Like the essential, like sleep, rest, eating, taking a shower, taking care of yourself, right? And also you may also have other areas in your life that is important to you, like spending time with your family, your loved one, exercising, your health, and that kind of stuff. So those are also important beside work. So what you want to do is use a technique called time blocking. What time blocking does is actually extremely simple. Have different time block through the day for different things in your life that you think is important to you. So for myself, example, I will have time block to spend time picking lunch for my kids, for my families, for my wife as well. Yes, I do pack their lunch and I enjoyed it. So I have time block for that in the morning, then I have time block for work, then I have time block for lunch and exercising, then I have time block to do some more work, then I have a time block to go pick up my kids and spend the rest of the day hanging out with them, right? So for you, maybe look differently. So based on what is important in your life, looking back to your time study, what other things is important in your life, so use the time blocking technique and start blocking out chunk of time in your calendar. So that way you live this more harmonic life instead of just focus on work, right? So here's a pro tips. When you actually use the time blocking technique to block out time for other important areas of your life, when you find that when you actually work in your work block, you're a lot more focused because you know that, okay, you have already scheduled time for your family. You have already scheduled time for your health. You have even scheduled time for lunch, right? I know a lot of us that when you're like grinding, you just don't want to eat, right? When you know that you have time for those things in place, your mind will be free from thinking about, okay, when am I going to do those things, right? Because there's time for that, right? The key is there's time for everything. When you actually pay attention and schedule it on your calendar, those things will get done. That gives you the advantage that when you actually focus on your time block, when you're doing work, you'll be a lot more focused because you don't have to worry about when you're going to do those things because you have scheduled time for that. So that's the positive effect when you use time blocking to budget how you spend your time every day. Here's your action step. Step 1, set boundary. Say no a lot more often. Give yourself permission to say no to new opportunity because when you say no to the new opportunity, you're actually saying yes to the thing that you currently work on so you can go from start to finish and start seeing results from the thing that you start out in the first place. So that's step number 1. Step 2, do a 7-day time study. Be honest with yourself on how you actually spend your time so that way you can make adjustment accordingly so you can readjust how you spend your time to the thing that you truly need to focus on so you can get your goal a lot faster. Step 3, budget your time with time blocking. Set aside different time block on your calendar for different things that are truly important to your life. So that way you will have this harmonic life without just keep grinding for just work and work and work only. When you implement the 3-step properly, you no longer find yourself not having enough time to do the things that you want to achieve. You are finally able to meet deadline that you set out to do. And not only that, you will no longer look at your calendar feeling overwhelmed because now you know there's time for everything and you have scheduled time for those things that are truly important to you. Now, when all this come together, you no longer struggle with time management. Instead of live to survive, you can finally live to thrive. If you like this video, I'd like to invite you to join my webinar. In this webinar, you can discover 3 secrets on how to work less and make more so you never have to sacrifice your personal life for professional gain. So click the link below and join the webinar and I'll see you there. With just these 3 simple tests, with just this